As we've been talking a lot about lately, at a sort of meta-strategic level, Democrats decided this year that they did not want to run in this year's elections with a national campaign strategy. For whatever reason, as Republicans turned right at Sarah Palin, right again at Jim DeMint, right again at the ghost of Jesse Helms, and kept on scooting into Wrightville, Democrats decided there was not much to say about Democrats v. Republicans this year. For whatever reason, that's what they decided. But here's what it looks like when Democrats stray from that instruction. Here's what it looks like when Democrats decide there is something worth saying about Democrats v. Republicans this year. Here's what it looks like when Democrats do draw that contrast. When a Democratic candidate tries to hang the national Republican agenda on her individual Republican opponent. Here's what it looks like when a Democratic candidate commits politics. Watch this.
I'm Debbie Halverson, and I approve this message.
Politician Adam Kinzinger says Social Security benefits need to be capped.
It's like you're stealing the money out of my pocket.
I need my Social Security. I worked 52 years. We've paid all these years.
And Adam Kinzinger supports plans to raise the retirement age.
How old do you have to be to retire?
It's not right. Don't even think about it. Adam.
You just don't get it.
Don't you dare.
Keep your hands off of my Social Security, Adam.
You're out of your tree.
You're a young guy, and you got a lot to learn, Adam.
That was an ad for Representative Debbie Halverson. She is running for re-election in Illinois' 11th congressional district, a bit south of Chicago. Ms. Halverson has only been in her seat for one term, unseating a Republican in 2008. It was the same year that the district went for Obama by about 8 points, but it did go for Bush the previous 2 elections. This is thought of as a swing district. And who knows how this district is going to go on Election Day. But that ad, that's what it looks like when Democrats campaign in a hard-hitting, pull-no-punches, nail-him-to-the-wall way against the declared Republican agenda that Republicans really do not want to run on this year, but that smart Democrats will make them run on. If Democrats were trying to win the elections this year in every congressional district, in every Senate race, every gubernatorial race, every whatever Oriole election, some version of that ad could be run. The Republican Party has essentially, as a whole, embraced privatization of Social Security. It's in the Paul Ryan roadmap for House legislation. The would-be Republican Speaker of the House, John Boehner, pointedly not ruling out Social Security privatization. A ton of the top-of-the-ticket Republicans are running on it overtly. Our friend Rand Paul running for the Senate in Kentucky, Pat Toomey in Pennsylvania, John Racy in Florida. West Virginia. Confusing. Hard to tell where he lives. Rob Portman in Ohio, Roy Blunt in Missouri, Ron Johnson in Wisconsin, all running on privatizing Social Security. And this Debbie Halverson ad is what it looks like when Democrats are trying to win against that. And I will let you in on a little secret. You know what issue that Republicans, Republicans are even more vulnerable on than they are on Social Security? Abortion. I have to whisper the word because people get very nervous when you say the word abortion in an election year. But in a year when there is a huge gender gap in who is expected to vote and vote Republican, and Democrats can really only compete if Democratic women come out in November, you want to know where Republicans are most vulnerable on an oh my God, look at the Republican agenda ad? It's on the issue of abortion. The roster of Republicans who have adopted this once unelectable, now standard position of no abortion ever, not even in cases of rape or incest, it continues to grow. Nevada Republican candidate Sharon Engel, Delaware Republican candidate Christine O'Donnell, Alaska Republican candidate Joe Miller, Kentucky Republican candidate Rand Paul, Colorado Republican candidate Ken Buck goes there too. But even though Ken Buck is absolutely and proudly in favor of forcing women to bear their relatives and their rapists' babies, Ken Buck is distancing himself from another measure on the same issue on his state's ballot this November. Even Ken Buck thinks it's too extreme. It's a measure that would amend the Constitution of the state of Colorado to, I am not kidding, categorize fertilized human eggs as people. It's called Amendment 62. It would define a person with inalienable rights as every human being from the, quote, beginning of the biological development of that human being. They call it a personhood amendment. It gives a zygote the same rights as you and me. I don't know about driver's licenses, but it would not only make abortions illegal, it would also, according to one of the amendment's authors, Leslie Hanks, according to Leslie Hanks, it would make certain forms of the pill and other contraceptive devices illegal. She says, quote, many of the oral contraceptives have an action that makes the womb inhospitable to a developing embryo, and hence the new living, growing baby is prevented from residing where his or her creator intended until birth. So if you're on the pill, you're committing murder, according to these folks. And if you miscarry, that's what, accidental manslaughter, negligent homicide? I don't care that these folks call themselves conservatives. If this is limited government, I'm the Queen of England. This is really, 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 really big government. Republicans are running on a really extreme set of policy proposals, and they were absolutely geeked to talk about them during the primaries. This is what they were running on. In the general election, though, they will have to answer to everybody in the electorate, to conservatives, yes, but also to independents and liberals and everyone. If Democrats force Republicans to explain themselves to everybody, not just to a Republican audience, we will have evidence that Democrats are actually trying to win this year. If Democrats don't do that, not only do we end up with people holding those really extreme positions in office, but we will sit wondering why Democrats didn't try as hard or as well as, say, Debbie Halverson did this year. One of her fellow Illinois Democrats, pro-choice caucus member Jan Schakowsky, joins us next.